Hello again, you sick, twisted weather freaks, and welcome to another fun filled, action packed, and intellectually stimulating edition of This Week in Weather. I'm your host and evil scientist, meteorologist DT from WX Risk here in Central Virginia, talking about the upcoming snowstorm here for potentially January 7th and 8th for portions of Virginia, North Carolina. I am your captain of chaos, your colonel of confusion, and your commander of catastrophe. Let's get right to it and see what's going on. So we'll start out to picture my smiling face from Richmond, Virginia. And there you can reach me here over at Verizon, my email, or my Gmail. There's the Twitter page, there's the Facebook page. Again, so the topics here just going to be on this January 7th and 8th snowstorm. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of intricacies, some interesting points of meteorology to talk about. So let's get right to it. Unfortunately, again, because of the domination of the GFS model with regards to forecasting in general, whether it's NWS or TV folks or other private services, the GFS dominates the forecasting process and the thinking. So if it has no snow, everyone says no snow, and we see that all the time. We saw that with a lot of storms. We saw it December 2018, so on and so forth. And sure enough, I mean, these are some local Mets here in Central Virginia saying that Friday's a miss. Friday, Saturday's a miss for Central and Virginia, even Southern Virginia. So, I don't agree with that. And I think, we have to do a little more looking outside the box and see exactly what's going on here. So we'll start out first by taking a look at our teleconnections. And here I posted this image before many times. You can see these are the four different teleconnections here. And ideally, what we want to see is to get a big snowstorm on the East Coast, you need to see the negative EPO, which is the Eastern Pacific Oscillation. That's your ridge in Alaska. When that is negative, you get cross-polar flow, so it brings in the really Arctic air. And you want to see a positive PNA. That's a ridge in Western Canada, brings in seasonally cold air. And then on the Atlantic side, you want to see a negative Arctic oscillation. That means the polar vortex is very weak, and you can get a lot of phasing. You get a lot of phasing of the jet streams between the polar jet and the subtropical jet, the northern and southern jet, and then the NAO, which is negative, the Greenland block. You want to see that in Greenland or northeastern Canada. So if we look at our two teleconnections here, this here is the Arctic Oscillation and the NAO. Notice this is the extended forecast. You can see here that these goes all the way out to the middle, almost end of January 23rd, 24. Every single model has both of these features negative, except look at the red dots. The operational GFS on both of these plots, the Arctic Oscillation in the upper left and the NAO in the bottom right, they've got the NAO going positive. This is the GFS, operational GFS there, and you can see that. So again, this shows you the flaw of the model. It doesn't even match its own ensemble. Remember, the circle here that's not filled in, that is the GFS ensemble mean, and you can see that is essentially, as you can see, the blue dots of both of these straight up keeping a negative, both the AO and the NAO. So it's not a good sign when the operational model is so far off from its own ensemble, and that's why we have ensembles. You use them to see whether the operational model matches the ensemble. And when we see the GFS ensemble, we'll see that, it's got snow into the southern third of Virginia. It's not a complete miss. It's not a huge snowstorm, but it's not nothing. So that's the whole point here. Okay. A couple of days ago, I posted this on the Facebook page and on the Twitter page, and this shows you exactly what the problem is with the system. Now, this is the GFS, and you can see the difference in the GFS on the left and the European on the right. I don't know if you can clearly see it, but the point here is that this is a closed upper low. This feature right here, okay? And we'll get to it more in just a second. And it's a closed upper low over Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it goes through Tennessee. Then what happens is, because it merges with this feature, which is so strong in the GFS, the upper low here gets destroyed, and you have a much weaker system. The snow doesn't get too far to the north. It doesn't get north of, Richmond or Charlottesville or Ashland or what have you. Now, the European, I don't know if you can see it still has a closed low here. Okay, now it is weakening, but it's still a closed low. And the difference is that the European has this upper low in Maine, you can see that, while the GFS has it in New Hampshire. So that upper low is a big deal, and that's what the problem is. So This is now we take a look at the more recent data here. Now this is the 6Z RGEM, the high resolution Canadian model. It's one of my favorite models for you forecasting weather. It goes out to 84 hours 4 times a day. It's high resolution. It doesn't have the problems that the GFS does have. And it's really reliable, and it doesn't have any huge snow biases one way or the other. So here we can see the closed upper low. Let me get my box out. You can see it. See this feature right here? There you go. That's the closed upper low. I drew a little blue circle around it. Now that is on for Thursday morning. By early Friday morning, that closed upper low is now in, you can see, central Tennessee. And it continues to move towards North Carolina. So right now, the system is still remaining fairly strong. It's got a couple of closed contours around it. It's fairly strong. Then what happens is this. The next image, let me clear this out. Here we go. And now this is for Friday evening, Friday afternoon, 3 p.m. Now here we can still see the closed contour. There's the upper low. I'm going to mark her out. There's the upper low right here in Maine, okay, and not in New Hampshire like the GFS had it. And then look at the closed contour here. Still see that? Okay. So this is still a fairly strong system. There's the upper low, and it's still progressing in this direction. Now there's another kicker upstream. See this thing right here? This is coming down, so it's going to keep the system going this direction. So this plus this means that this low cannot turn up the coast to New York or New Jersey or Boston, or that's not going to happen. It's an impossibility. But this is still a closed upper low. Now the next image shows you what happens when we get to early Saturday morning. The closed upper low has opened up into an open wave as it begins to merge with the system over Maine, and that's weakening. And when you see weakening like that in the upper levels, that means that the precipitation field is going to be significantly impacted, and as a result, you don't get precipitation advancing far to the north. If this system were to stay a closed upper low like we have here, then you would have snow getting as far north as Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. So that's the difference. Now, this here is the RGEM, and again, this is from early this morning, and you can see it's got the low along the coast. You've got significant snow in portions of the mountains of Tennessee and western North Carolina, and Asheville and Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and then some of the snow gets into southwest Virginia as the low moves to Wilmington. That's what the RGEM was showing earlier this morning. This is the Canadian from last night. This is the early Wednesday morning Canadian, and notice it is the most aggressive with this system. And the reason for that is because this upper low over Maine, the Canadian, the high resolution global Canadian, has that moving faster to the east. So the upper low stays stronger longer. And as a result, look, you can see the snow, moderate snow here on the Canadian. This is last night's Canadian in all of southwest Virginia, into the central Shenandoah Valley, into Lynchburg, into Charlottesville, into Richmond, up towards Ashland, almost as far north as Stafford and Fredericksburg on the Canadian from early on Friday morning. And the result is this. That's a decent snowstorm for a good portion of Virginia. Notice, yes, D.C., Northern Virginia gets shafted. There's no two ways about it. So does Winchester, the northern Shenandoah Valley. But western North Carolina, the northern Virginia, North Carolina Piedmont, northeast Tennessee, Roanoke gets, according to this, gets several inches of snow. So does Lynchburg, and you have a few inches getting into the Richmond metro area. Not out to sea, not nothing. Now, it's not a big storm, but again, if you're telling people, don't worry about it, this is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. This is accumulating snow in central Virginia and certainly Virginia Piedmont, southwest Virginia. All right, now this is the GFS. This is the afternoon. This is the 6Z GFS, from early Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. And again, you can see the big difference here between, let me change this, between this and this. Big differences between that and that. And that's why the GFS has got nothing. There it is. Out to sea, not a big deal. Okay, see you later. Now this here is the 6Z European. And the 6Z European has a lot of lows along the North Carolina coast. This is a good track for significant snowstorm for western and central North Carolina, assuming the temperatures are cold enough, of course. And for much of Virginia, up to, let's say, Charlottesville or D.C., Southern Virginia, St. Mary's, Calvert counties, that's a pretty good track. The Southern Delmarva, Northern Peninsula, Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula, Richmond, that's a pretty good track. Of course, just looking at the lows, the problem is, like we said, that upper low in New England kind of suppressing the northern edge. But if we look at the 6Z European precipitation maps, you can see this here on the one in the upper left, that's 1 o'clock Friday. And you can see I've drawn the snow and the rain areas. And then you can see how it shifts to the east by 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. It's snowing in Richmond. It's snowing almost in Williamsburg at that point, down towards Emporia. And you got moderate snow in Raleigh, according to the European, and Lynchburg and Roanoke and way out there to northeastern Tennessee. And then here we have Saturday morning. It's still snowing in Richmond. Now, it's not coming down buckets, but it's not nothing. And if we look at the ensemble mean for the snow here, let me blow this up a little bit. I'll bring this front, sorry. And as you can see, this is the 6Z run. It's got 1 to 2, 3 inches in the Richmond metro area, and you can look at you got 2 to 5 inches in Greensboro and Roanoke and Blacksburg, and a couple of inches in Lynchburg, and then Danville's got 3 or 4 inches. So again, not a huge storm, but not nothing. And that's the problem I'm having here. This declaration that this is all going to be a lot of hooey, a lot of nothing. That's what's bothering me. All right, here is the 12Z HRR model, which of course now goes out to 48 hours. Every 6 hours, 12Z, 18Z, 0Z, 6Z. And look at this. This is a pretty damn impressive. That's a lot of big snow here in western North Carolina, northeastern Tennessee, and southwest Virginia. That's the one. This is the same time frame. I just blew it up so you can see more detail on the right-hand side. That's pretty good snow there in western North Carolina and southwest Virginia. That's not nothing. This is the 12Z Canadian, the updated version of it. There it is, Friday morning, 7 a.m. You can see the nice snow in Greensboro and Boone in North Carolina and Hickory, and then spreading into Tri-Cities and Wytheville and Blacksburg and Roanoke and Lynchburg. And the bottom right is 1 o'clock on Friday. And then we go to here, and this is now 7 o'clock on Saturday, and it's snowing in central Virginia, Richmond metro area. And it's still snowing in Roanoke and Lynchburg. And you can see the snow map. Now, this map here actually has, in Chesterfield County, almost 8 inches of snow. I don't think that's going to happen, but, 3 inches, 4 inches, yes. Notice here the very, very sharp cutoff of the snow line. Again, on all of these models, look how this sharp cutoff is right here. See that? So now, yeah, Roanoke, again, Lynchburg, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow. Greensboro, Blacksburg, down good snow into northeastern Tennessee again, like they'd had. Raleigh looks like they're on the edge of 1 inch. Everything's north and west of Raleigh, as you can see that. And then Richmond southward. So, and even some snow into the interior portions, let's say Stony Creek and New Kent and the northern, maybe the western portion of Northern Neck, Middle Peninsula, Middlesex County, King and William, places like that, if this is correct. We don't know if it's correct, but notice that the trend is showing up on all of these short-range models. This here is the German Icon model. I'm not a big fan of it, but it's not horrible, and you can see the trend again. Got decent snow here. This looks like the other models very much snow. And it does get north into the Richmond metro area. It gets close to Charlottesville, maybe Livingston, Lexington, probably just north of Lynchburg. And notice, again, a very sharp cutoff on all of the snow shield to the north. And there, sure enough, there's the snow map. Now, notice it only has 1 inch in Richmond. That's a possibility. We don't know that yet, but it's got decent snow in Greensboro and Hickory and all of southwest Virginia, Lynchburg and Danville and Martinsville and places like that. This here is the 12Z 12-kilometer NAM. So this is the high-resolution NAM. Okay, this is the 12-kilometer NAM, so this is the broader one here, and you can see, wow, nice snow down in here, folks. This is 7 a.m. Friday morning, and then this is 7 p.m. and you got the snow getting into Richmond, and you're still snowing now out towards Roanoke. It's ended in western North Carolina. Greensboro is getting hit again. Raleigh is right on the edge here, but Martinsville and Danville and Lynchburg and Farmville are getting some snow here. And if you look at the snow map, This is again, this is the NAM, the 12-kilometer NAM. Notice it's got 2 inches in Petersburg, but nothing in Richmond Airport, almost nothing. But notice it does have snow in Suffolk and Williamsburg and Emporia. Several inches there. Then you've got that nice snow all the way down. Here, the model has the snow line. Lynchburg. You can see there's Lynchburg there in Roanoke. They miss it. Everything is south of them. But western North Carolina gets slammed. Greensboro, 14 inches. Is that right? That's overdone. That's not correct. Tennessee does very well in this as well. I don't know about central Tennessee getting that, but certainly the mountains and western North Carolina. So again, where's the northern edge of the snow line? Don't know. South of Richmond, north of Richmond, hard to say. And again, north of Lynchburg, again, it's going to be very difficult to say. So that's going to be a forecast problem. You got to draw that line somewhere. And somebody's not going to like it. I'll tell you that much. Now, here's the RGEM, which again is a 12Z RGEM, high resolution RGEM, very good model. You can see the lows here, a nice snow in this whole area. This is 1 o'clock on Friday. This is at 1 p.m. Okay, that's not doing anything yet in Richmond, as you can see. But this here is now in the afternoon hours. Let me bring this to the front a little bit. Make sure I got the time frame on this. This is this is early Saturday morning. You can see the snow is now it's snowing moderately. Let me bring this forward a little bit. You've got moderate snow in central Virginia, Richmond, and Lynchburg, out towards Roanoke and Greensboro and South Hill and Danville and Martinsville and Farmville. It's snowing pretty good there. So it's coming down. According to this, again, this is a Saturday. This is Friday night at 10 o'clock, where the temperatures have turned cold again. And then if I go to the next one, you can see this is a Saturday at 4 a.m. It's snowing pretty good in central Virginia. A lot of sleet to the south and east. In Williamsburg, snow and sleet mixed, and Emporia, but it's still coming down. And the end result is this. Yowza. Now, again, you can see that's 4 inches in Richmond and 9 inches in Petersburg. I don't know if we're going to go that. But you could also, they've got accumulating snow. You can see east of Richmond into the northern neck, down here towards Emporia and Suffolk and Isle of Wight maybe. Not a lot, but not nothing. Raleigh's at 1.6 inches here. All the snow's north and west. And you got 8 inches in, along Whiteville, 4 or 5 inches in Roanoke and Lynchburg and that sort of places. All the big snow down in here. Again, northeast Tennessee doing well. I like this map a lot. I think this is a very reasonable looking map. Everything considered. And this here is the high resolution 3-kilometer NAM. And again, it's creeping northward. Every run, it's creeping a little further north. This is a Friday morning. You can see good snow, northeast Tennessee, southwestern and western North Carolina, expanding into Roanoke and Lynchburg, moving across the border, really coming down there. 1 o'clock on Friday. And then this is 4 o'clock on Friday, and then 4 o'clock on Friday. It's the same map. I didn't post a 0-0 run, but you can see what it does is notice here again the northern edge of the snow line, right like that. Very, very sharp line here, and you can see that quite clearly that that's going to be a real issue. And the result is now this only goes out to 60 hours. Okay, so this only takes us to Friday evening, 7 p.m. It's still going on past that. So as a result, the model is showing this. Now, this is the NAM, and let me blow it up a little bit so you can see it some more. Okay, look at the heavy snow in western North Carolina. It's coming down. And now in Roanoke and Lynchburg, the snow's just getting underway at 7 o'clock. Remember, look at the time frame. This is up to 7 o'clock Friday evening. It's still going on into Saturday morning. So there's additional snow beyond what this model can see. But you can see it inch in Richmond. It has that. You can see 2 inches in Lynchburg. And you can see the heavier snow along the North Carolina border into the western half of North Carolina, Greensboro and Hickory and places like that. Really come Winston-Salem, Asheville. And look at northeastern Tennessee. Again, pretty good snows in those areas. Let's see here. And then finally, just to go beyond this, this is the one for January 11th to 12th. It's got a low on the coast. It's the GFS. I don't know if this is right or not. I don't have any faith in the model. The ensemble has a pretty nice track. along the coast for mid-Atlantic for good snow here. You can see that. And there's the upper air map, which looks pretty promising as well. All right, so in summary, okay, we're looking at a major snowfall here for the western half of North Carolina, especially the mountains. I had to guess 4 to 10 inches, something like that. Also, Greensboro, Hickory, Winston-Salem, all those places going to get clocked with several inches of snow from what it looks like to me. Southwest Virginia, 4 to 8 inch snow. Could be a few 10-inch snow amounts. Now, does that line get into Roanoke? I think it does, but there's still some uncertainty. We can wait a little bit and see if it does. I think it gets into Roanoke and Lynchburg. And the 10-inch snow amounts would be along, the North Carolina-Virginia border, maybe by Whiteville or Danville, Martinsville. I had to draw a line, let's say, south of 460. You go south of that in the Virginia Piedmont, something like, 2 to 5 inches, 2 to 6 inches, something like that. Okay, very sharp north edge to the snow shield. Ashland could see an inch of snow or less, and maybe Petersburg could see 3, 4, 5 inches, maybe 6, if this data is right. So that would not surprise me. I don't see any snow north of line from Fredericksburg or Charlottesville. I don't see it at this point. And again, watch northeastern Tennessee. Again, the northeast 25%, maybe Knoxville. They could get a pretty good snow out of this as well. Anyway, that's my video and update. Questions or comments, be sure to hit me over the Twitter page and on the Facebook page. This is Meteorologist DT. I'll see you there.